What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at IEM Cologne 2024 play-ins. I didn't have time to make a video for this Blast event, whatever it's called. I always tweet my lineups on Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called nowadays, if I don't have time to make a video. So if you would have followed me there and seen my post, you would have seen that this is the lineup I went with. I was actually like top 1% for a while. Unfortunately, Navi losing to Liquid for the second time probably cost me a higher finish. But top 5%, I'll take it definitely. I can't be mad at that. Donk really paid off for me here for 235k. I feel like it was quite easy to make a lineup that's not too bad with Donk. Of course, Snappy being kind of the sacrificial player here, but I felt like there was role and booster wise a lot to be gained with Snappy, and in the end that really was fine for me, and Snappy wasn't that bad individually that it would have really suffered or really thrown my rank under the bus. But yeah, top 5% we go on. Of course, the first event went very badly, so we're not looking too hot, but there's a lot of events to come, so we've got some catching up to do. So this event, double elimination bracket, just 2 games in this play-in stage for those teams that win the first game, 3 games max. If you lose your first or second game, you go to the lower bracket, from which you can still advance to the group stage of Cologne. Every match is best of 3, so that's at least nice. I hate those best of 1 starters here they used to have, so at least that makes the fantasy a little more bearable. But still, a very low sample size can matter quite a lot for a lot of teams here. In terms of fantasy, I think Liquid are the obvious favorites. Just doubling up on Liquid seems like a pretty good plan. They don't have the easiest path here. Like Pain is a team that can do things. They have Biguzera and some other good individuals, but I still would favor Liquid every time here. And they were very impressive at Blast. They beat Navi, who are ranked number 1 right now in the world, twice. So yeah, I think people like Twists has been looking pretty solid. I think Ultimate has been showing some capabilities, or some of the stuff that he's capable of at least. Yekindar has gained a little bit of form. Naf is of course always reliable, and JKS also quite reliable. So I think doubling up on Liquid here is kind of a no-brainer. I don't see them not. I think they should 2-0 every time. If they lose 1, I still feel pretty comfortable with them advancing through the lower bracket. Then you essentially want to pick one of the teams from any of the other groups of 4. So you could go FlyQuest, Big, Mongol, Saw. If you feel like one of these teams is by far the best, you could go for one of these or one of these. That's the essential plan, and then one player from one more of those. So which team do I feel like has the best chance after Liquid? That's actually a hard question. I think the obvious answer would be Mongols. Mongols have been pretty reliable for a long time, but then now in the last few, or at least the last event, they haven't looked as strong anymore. So that's kind of unfortunate. Like, if they did at least decent in their last few events, I would be looking at it like, yeah, of course I go Mongols, because they're just reliable. Now I've got a bit of a question mark around them. I'm not sure if I can rely on them as much as I'd hope, but they are still, I think, by far the best option out of these 4 teams. If I go for any of the teams here, I think it's them. I think Big, FlyQuest, either one could win here, and then either one is still not favored against Mongols, even if they win. In this upper bracket, or upper side of the bracket, Complexity alternate attacks is probably one of the more lopsided opening matches. Like, Complexity should completely rush alternate attacks. I don't know. I feel like they just have been so hit or miss. Like, they have some really good matches like against the better teams, but then against the lower rated teams they can struggle, so who knows what's gonna happen here. Then Eternal Fire Falcons, that's like a very hard to call matchup in my eyes. Like I think for me Eternal Fire probably still are slightly favored because they have some of the individuals who can really pop off. I think those 3 highest rated players for them are really capable of just taking one singular game in their own hands. Like any of these can pop off and just destroy Falcons. But then again, Falcons haven't looked too bad. I think they've looked a bit better than, like they were so disjointed before. Now there's a bit of improvement at least, so I think they're also capable of winning this, even this whole side of the bracket. And then like I'd like to go for Heroic. I actually think Waro 2K as a stand-in could work out for them quite well. He at least has like LAN experience and is capable of having those good ratings, delivering for his team. I think it could be one of those cases where stand-in actually does quite well for his team, but it's still so hard to go for a team with a stand-in in any case. We also know that he can be a bit of a hard personality or difficult personality, but then again, like Dexter is known to be a bit of a difficult personality as well, so maybe that doesn't matter as much. But then again, like on the other side, we have MIBR, who are not a bad team. Like Insani can take over matches. There's decent pieces around him, so definitely could go either way as well. And then 3D Max 9Z, like 9Z had one good event, but we have no idea if they're gonna be as good here. I would still very much favor them above 3D Max, but I think I can't double up on 9Z at least. So after all of this rambling, teams I think are worth considering. I think Liquid double up just because of the fact that every other team, like there's some doubts around for me. Like I think Liquid has shown enough in that Blast event that there's really high potential for them. They have really good individuals. If they can work together, I think there's no reason they shouldn't 2-0 this. I think the Mongols is my secondary pick. I think I'm just gonna have my faith in them. It's like Seoul have not been good for a long time. They're almost outside the top 30 by now. And then FlyQuest and Big, I'm just not very excited by either of these, to be honest. And then the 5th, I don't know yet. I would go for a Heroic player. I think I even had a draft ready with Kixan in it, thinking that Heroic is at least going to be decent, but now after Dexter's not there, I wouldn't go there, I don't think. Might be the JT angle, to be honest. Like, he's the kind of player who I think is definitely capable of crushing some noobs. But this is like so bad. There's like, I don't know. It might be JT as the 5th. Just because I don't know who else to pick. I think everyone on 9Z is expensive for this position or situation. I think EF actually has too difficult of a side of the bracket. Then again, Complexity also has a difficult side of the bracket. How expensive is Major? 181 for Major is like honestly kind of tempting if the money works out that way. Apart from that, I just don't see many players I would want to go for out of the cheap 5th players. Yeah, it's gonna be Liquid Mongols for me. Let's actually check the most picked players. Maybe there's some ideas here. So Kixan's quite highly picked, but I wouldn't go for him with Heroic playing with a standing. He could be the best cheap option still, but I think that lowers his stock just enough. I think JT is probably the cheap player I want to go for. How expensive is Magisk actually? That is a bit tempting. Well, 195 is a bit too expensive even for me, I think. I wouldn't go there. Okay. So I'll make I'll just pick the cheapest players out of these two teams. We have 208. No, I'm gonna build around JT first, just to see what I can do. I think Ultimate is probably the best value pick. I think he has to be in your lineup pretty much. I think he's, yeah. It's actually JKS picked more than Yakindar. Who did better at Blast in terms of stats? I think that's gonna be quite indicative. If anything is indicative of how they're gonna do here, it would be Blast, right? Yeah, like I would rather have Yakindar, I think. It's interesting that JKS is so much higher picked. I think the other player to consider is like Naf. If I have the money for Naf, I would love to have Naf. He's so reliable, and I think Twists, like, he has the higher ceiling probably, but also with his IGL duties now, he might not brag as much. But I think Yakindar is just way worth it. You could do this as well if you want. Techno Mezinho. 5k left is a bit too much maybe. So if I have Ultimate Techno 910, I haven't picked 910 for a while and it feels weird to see him as a gold. What about the Mezinho? We don't have money for Blitz or 910. Yeah, I've 1k off Blitz actually. So maybe if you don't go for JT, you go Blitz instead. Then there's like Snappy, there's Major as an option. How have Eternal Fire actually been playing lately? Have they even played lately? They are a LAN team. They were kind of bad at Yalla. They did okay at Sky Sports, this Indian event. Actually, I just want to see. Who even played there? 3D Max won it with Mongols in second. So Eternal Fire, who did they lose to? Did they lose to Mongols or 3D Max? That actually kind of matters in my eyes. Eternal Fire lost to the Mongols. Okay. Look, I can live with that. Major did kind of fine. It could be this lineup, actually. I kind of love this. Because it has all of the pieces I want. I want to double up on Liquid, and I think the cheap guys are actually the best value for money. I think Naf is decent as well. But I think these are the best value picks. Then I want to go for a double up on Mongols, and I don't really see who I would want to go for. Like, better to go Techno. Oh, you can't even go Techno Zenzu. That's interesting that Zenzu is this highly rated here. But I think Mizinho Blitz just works out. How does this look with rolls then? I'm guessing Mizinho or Yakindar. I know Yakindar has to be entry for sure. And then Mizinho has to be headshots for sure. Oh my god, 73-20. That's crazy for headshot percentages. I'm guessing either this eco-friendly or support for Major. Eco-friendly probably. Blitz, more of a multi or defender kind of guy. Looks like multi-fragger would be slightly better stats. That Hunter actually not bad. I would go multi-fragger here. Ultimate. Actually decent amount of AWPing for him. He was given the AWP quite a lot. I won't lie. That Hunter as well, not bad for him here, but this is of course quite low sample size. I think AWP might be one of the safer ones in that case. I might go for that. I feel like they were really trying to get him on the AWP quite a lot and set him up for the AWP, and that probably plays to his advantage. And then you can go eco-friendly on Major. I don't know. I mean, Ultimate is really good, and there's no really good role on him. Like, Multi-Fragger might be slightly better than main AWP. But then, like, Blitz, I don't think has... Like, it could be Defender, Blitz, and then Ultimate on Multi-Fragger. It could be this as well. I think either way, I am going with this lineup, and I want to, and I'll have one of those two role combinations. I might have to actually have a think about which one I like more. For now, I'll leave it at this, and then if I don't change it, I don't change it. Yeah, I think this targets some of the best matchups. Eternal Fire, like, I just have a feeling that they're gonna be potentially quite good here. And even if they lose to Falcons, then they play like alternate attacks in the lower bracket, most likely. And that's gonna be a farm fest. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with Major. I think he's also the kind of player who, even if they lose, can do quite okay. He's not that bad individually. So yeah, don't have IGL, that's fine. KAST, only use first. Yekindar on KAST is kind of crazy, but okay. Oh yeah, we actually want to use only the best boost as well, because if there's only 2 games played, it might only mean that we only get to use 10 boosters. So I actually should go for some of the best boosters on each player here. Just use really good boosters in the first round, I would say. Like Major's best booster is probably... Ooh, Assist is really good. I think Assist on Yekindar then. I'm not gonna overthink it with the boosters here. I just want to have high percentage boosters to start out with, because those are still by far the highest percentage boosters. Major with this, yes. Probably headshots on Mr. Mezinho. 52 could be. He is as good as headshots on him, but I would hope he doesn't die as much. I'll go for headshots here. Blitz. Probably ultimate actually on the Avenger is probably pretty good. Top of scorecard, I'd be less inclined to go there. I think Avenger makes sense. Blitz. Defender. I wouldn't want to use my feeling 22 there, I don't think. Top of scorecard. Is anyone else high on the top of scorecard? Not really. It might be top of scorecard then. I think so, yes. Ultimate has such a low sample size, so his booster stats are a bit wonky. Yeah. I am happy with this. I don't think I can get anything better. I think it's a weird, like very weird event, fantasy-wise. A lot of teams where I don't know what to expect of them. Like Liquid, what are the teams that actually played at Blast? Like Complexity, Eternal Fire, Heroic, Liquid, and Big, I think, are all of the teams that played at Blast. Everyone except Liquid was underwhelming, I would say. And Heroic wasn't underwhelming, they were just playing the stand-in. And they're going to be playing with a stand-in here. Of course, it's a better stand-in, but... yeah. Either way, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.